Hey guys, Ryan Young, Kama Jiu-Jitsu. I hope you don't mind, I'm on the road right now, so this is a good time to get some thoughts out to you guys. I know some of you guys make fun of me doing videos in the car, and but whatever. I mean, it's the idea and the concept that's important, right? Not the delivery. Okay. What I want to cover today is how my sales training. Believe it or not, my full-time job has been in financial sales for a number of years, not jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu I do for fun. My sales training is what either makes me or breaks me as an instructor. What does that mean? Well, for students that do well, that excel in our system, are the students that have bought in to my teaching my teaching style, Dave's curriculum, the methodology that we use. Right? If you don't buy into what I'm teaching you, you're not going to be successful in my system. If you're not bought into our system, then you will not do as we ask you to do. You will always be looking for an alternate to what we're teaching you. I did a video a while back on not using YouTube as your instructor. Trust your instructor. If you don't trust your instructor to where you need to watch DVDs and watch YouTube, it's because your instructor hasn't sold you on his concepts of teaching jiu-jitsu. You don't believe him. He's not successful. It's not maybe, and maybe you're not ultimately successful in jiu-jitsu, which is why you're always looking for something different. You're going, hey, I hear Marcelo Garcia has got this perfect X guard that I want to learn how to do, or I hear that the Mendes brothers, their no-gi grappling, especially with the berimbolo, is awesome. Or that Dean Lister with his footlocks and heel hooks and knee bars is killer. So I'm gonna watch a video. If someone is a specialist in a certain area, I get it, right? Maybe you want to get into a deeper level of knowledge with a particular concept, and it makes sense to go to a specialist. However, if your overall game is shitty and you're looking for stuff that the greats are doing, why? You're not going to get to that level from where you are right now without bringing up everything else. You can think to yourself, and I had a friend who had what I call an opportunistic style of jiu-jitsu, in that if he sees an opportunity, he'll get you. But the problem was his game was so awful and reliant on his athleticism, he couldn't make those opportunities happen. You had to make a mistake for him to be able to, number one, see the opportunity, and number two, be able to exploit the opportunity. So suffice to say, he didn't take advantage of too many opportunities. But he would tell me how he would go, and he was an athletic guy, good sized guy, 6 foot plus, about maybe 200 pounds, and ripped. Boxer, kickboxer, Muay Thai guy, and did some grappling. And he told me how he would go to local schools and he would beat everyone until brown belt. And with the brown belts, he said he'd be 50-50. Beat him half the time, don't beat him the other time. Came over to my garage one day, and I had him, he wanted to kind of, visit and stuff. I'm like, yeah, okay, come by. I said, I'm going to be doing a private on this day. He said, are you okay if I be his training dummy? And I'm like, yeah, fine. Why don't you come by, be his training dummy? My student at that time trained with me only once a week, just did privates. He was a medical student at the time, so he didn't really have much time, but he did set aside every Saturday morning to come by for a private. And he was athletic as well. And at that time, probably trained about maybe 75 sessions altogether, maybe about a year and a half. He was a blue belt. He was actually a pretty good blue belt. Trained with this friend of mine. After the lesson was over, then I just said, hey, if you want to roll, have at it. And he got smashed. And he was amazed. He's like, wait a minute, I beat any blue belt I roll up against. I beat any purple belt I roll up against. And I have a hard time with brown belts, but I'll still beat some of them. But your guy just got his blue belt and he just crushed me. And then he asked him, how long you been training? And then he said something like 75 sessions. And he couldn't believe it. But it's because all we did was he bought into the way we taught, and he wholeheartedly devoured what we taught. And as a result, he excelled in it. And I told him, I said, don't watch YouTube Don't watch, don't watch DVDs or anything. And it's not I say, don't ever do it. The common thing I tell all the students is this: if you're deep into purple belt, meaning 3-4 stripe purple belt, and you've faithfully followed our methodology and our system that entire time from white to that level, your central nervous system will have fully digested what we want you to learn on the basic end, so that if you get taken out to deep water, you're in a match or in a fight or something, your instincts, your natural instincts will be to do what we want you to do. You're not going to hesitate because it'll be instinct. But it takes years to get to that level. Here comes a guy who's kind of learned off of YouTube and kind of learned a little bit from this person, a little bit from that person. No consistent teacher in jiu-jitsu, just kind of went to various places. As a result, he learned little bits here and there, learned this submission, this choke, whatever, this wrist lock, but he could never tie it all together. As much as people like to try to take charge of their own game, most of us are not such the type of person where we can be left to our own devices and still be successful in jiu-jitsu, right? An example is when I was a kid, I used to play guitar, and a lot of people who played rock guitar were self-taught, right? They didn't have any formal training in music. They would just kind of, read magazines and read, and they would get music via tablature and just practice it over and over again. They'd eventually figure it out. With jiu-jitsu, it's hard to do that, especially when somebody's at a blue belt level. A lot of times people, when they get to their blue belt level, they get cocky and they think to themselves, oh, okay, I'm a blue belt now. I can go and learn from this guy, learn from this guy, learn from this guy. Oh, he's got a YouTube channel. Let me go and do that. But what happens is they're haphazard in what they're doing. Whereas if you have your professor who has his system, I would hope he has his system of teaching and learning, and it's a template from which he can run all his students onto the template. He knows the formula with which to be successful, and he can put you on that path, right? Getting a blue belt and thinking you're going to be able to continue on is like getting to 6th grade in school, getting to middle school, and think you can run yourself all the way through college. Maybe you can. There are those extraordinary people here and there, but for the most part, 99% of us doesn't work that way. What I'm getting at is this: if you don't trust your professor to run you through his system and to teach you to the point where you will just say, okay, show me what you've got, and let them guide you through your game. If you don't trust them to that level, find someone who you do trust, because you're not going to have fun. There's a lot of people that I know, they jump around school to school to school to school, and I get some people, they call me up, they're local here in Texas. Hey, Ryan, and I get a conversation with them every once in a while, maybe once a year. Oh, Ryan, I'd like to come out and train at your school. And I know they have a history of being maybe, they're at 4 or 5 schools already. And I asked them, okay, since the last time we spoke, what's changed? Oh, well, I just don't like the school I'm at. To tell you the truth, me as an instructor, with that type of person, I'm really not interested. Why? Because I put a lot of my heart and soul into teaching, as does Professor Dave, as does Professor Jack and Fernando, all of us here at Kama Jiu-Jitsu. We put a lot of effort in our students. If the student is one who just doesn't trust their instructors and they keep jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping, we won't be successful with them either. I am very tied into our success in teaching students. We want our students to be successful, and we want them to be good representatives of our art. If they didn't buy into it, meaning they don't believe us that we can help them, then they're just going to be paying us money to just come and kind of audit classes, I guess. Come just to train, right? If you're not here to learn, why pay the money to us? Go to somewhere where you can learn. If you just want to roll, you can go to any school that has open mats and you can go roll over there. We all like to think we're smarter than ourselves. And I've had a number of students that, a couple that left our school because they didn't like the system that they were on. They wanted to do other stuff. But the way I looked at it is this: we've got a system, steps 1 through 10, for example, and you go through the steps. And my goal is to progress you through to step 10, which let's say is the black belt. If at step 2, you're already starting to deviate, then we have the conversation, okay, what's going on? Why are you doing this stuff? I didn't teach you this. Oh, well, I saw it on YouTube. Okay, if you're gonna watch YouTube, it's really not gonna work. They're gonna pull you off of the path of getting to level 10 because they're gonna distract you. That's the old, oh, look, squirrel, right? Oh, another squirrel, right? You get distracted like that, and if you do, you're never heading toward your goal. You think you are, but you're not. You're looking at somebody else's techniques, thinking that's what you need. Maybe it is, but probably it's not. If somebody were to leave me in that case, it's my fault. Why is it my fault? Because they didn't buy into it. Well, they didn't buy into it because I didn't sell them right. I didn't give them good enough reason to trust me and say, yes, Ryan, I will do what you're telling me. When I came to Dave's, I bought in. I'm like, yep, I'm here. I never really was one to watch YouTube videos myself, and that worked out well for me, actually. I did notice that when I did watch them, I would get distracted and I'd be confused. Luckily, I did have Dave that I could always go back to, and I just, okay, so I had my little fun watching YouTube over here, but really now I got to get back to work and do it this way. And I was able to do that because when I'm on YouTube, I'm not watching jiu-jitsu videos. I'm watching other stuff that entertains me. With regard to your jiu-jitsu, like I said, that's why your instructor is so important. If you don't trust your instructor, why pay him your money? Save your money, right? If YouTube's your instructor, it's free, but you're not really gonna get anywhere. My 2 cents, if it's even worth that much. Anyway, that's all I got for you. I hope things are going well for you. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, throw it all below. If you have any other questions, you want to PM me, go ahead and private message. You can private message any of us over at the Kama Jiu-Jitsu Facebook page, or you can email us, kamajujitsu@gmail.com. Take care of yourselves. Happy training. Bye-bye.